blah blah. Yeah, what the cookbot said. Blah blah blah. Blah 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 blah. V2 to boot. On yard. Wondering if I should put 2 wheels on the front, or if I should make the back wheels turn. I mean, it'll probably make it flip over every time I try to make it turn. But I think I'm gonna try that first. And that makes it drive a lot better. And it doesn't flip over at all. It does, however, make it very sensitive to turning, so you can only tap the steering button. Yerk, 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 yerk. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. Uh, Ralph. Yeah, this whole time I thought you could only get the embers from the glowing trees with like the fire strips in them. But no, the not glowing trees in the fire biome also like that. Well, no, not like that. Kind of like that one. I mean, I've broken a few of them so far, but it looks like just an ash covered tree and not like a burning tree, but that should be enough for now. Hello. Hello. Blah, 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 blah. Oops. Most people would probably like be sad, but pretty much everybody that hears my voice or hears me say "whoa" like that, they're like, "Whoa, I gotta get out of here." I think it's funny. I do. I mean, it's like I'm not sure what they're expecting. But my voice is clearly not it. I just had a thought. I'm not gonna say it quite so obviously, but I mean, kind of makes me wonder if like people are, you know, some of the people are expecting like it to be like a younger person that's doing the stream, so when they hear my voice, they're like, you know, caveman SpongeBob, and they're like, I gotta go. And the thing that I'm not really putting too much emphasis on beyond, just making a joke about it. But there used to be a TV show where it was like, no, come here and have a seat. No, that's fine. No, you're not going anywhere. Just come here and have a seat. Like, I'm not going to say anything beyond that, but I wonder how many of those people, like, they see a cartoon game or whatever and they think that, no, that's fine. Just come here and have a seat. The onion. But since they don't stay to answer any questions, you can't help but speculate. Can't help but wonder. Their motivation, Mr. Anderson. That is interesting, the assumptions that people make about stuff. And the funny thing about people and assumptions is usually don't react very well when they find out that their assumptions are incorrect. But anytime, like, most everything with human behavior that I've found, and this is just me speculating here, and I could easily be wrong. So don't put too much stock in what I'm about to say, but like, I think a lot of it comes down to the evolutionary trait of anything unfamiliar is potentially bad. Because most of the time, anything potentially unfamiliar is potentially bad. Most of the time. The onion. Herp, derp, ding doo. But I'm not discouraged by it because there are so very many people that watch YouTube that just through statistical potentiality, there's a pretty good potential that there's bound to be some people out there that, like, that enjoy watching me play video games. I think my only criticism of the general thing is, most people, just from my experience, like most people seem to really enjoy like the whole fake streamer routine. Because it is a routine and it is a gimmick. People want to believe that the people making these videos are somehow elevated above the status of a regular human being. Nope. Everywhere you go, people are just people. And practically everything that we know about any particular culture or any word or any concept is just some crap that we made up. And see, I do want to put, I don't want it to hang off the side of the car. I guess I'll just make 10 extra ones. Just have those as reserves. And I think I just had this thought, is anybody coming in here and listening to me, like, on the one hand I am talking to myself, but at the same time I am talking to anybody potentially watching the video, either now or in the future. You know, because it is a recording. You know, you wouldn't expect some abstract philosophy in a video game, you know. So I'm not saying that them expecting, you know, your usual thing is, you know, is an incorrect assumption, because there are so many people that try to emulate the stereotype of the streamer or the YouTuber or the this or the that, but it's like, yeah, it is funny. I think it is funny. Should I finally add shocks to that car? I mean, it drives well enough to where I don't need to add shocks to it. And adding shocks to it might make it drive worse. How do I only have one component kit? Oh, yeah, I didn't put them in the box. So I know I'm going to need probably at least 4 pistons. And then I'm going to need a crap load of component kits to upgrade them. But I do want to finish my stone grinder machine here. And it works so very well. The only downside is that it makes so many rocks so fast that the game code is unoptimized and it makes it lag, but it works so very well. Yeah, I don't think the level 1 piston is going to be strong enough, so I know I'm going to have to upgrade these. And of course, even if I wanted to upgrade them all to level 2, you need 2 component kits to do that. So that's where the bearing is. How do I want to do that? I don't think you can put a piston on a bearing. So I think I'm going to break this block out and make that the piston. But I'm also going to have to make 2 of them. I don't want the back end to be higher, so piston, block, piston. And then 2 blocks. I hope it didn't weld the piston to the thing. It probably did. Because I don't want it to. Let's see if it did. Oh, cool. No, it didn't. Nice. Need a sip of coffee here. It's probably not going to be strong enough to lift the back end of this thing. But I do have almost all the weight in the front, so maybe maybe? So I gotta go 3 blocks into the frame. Nice. I don't think I have to upgrade them. I mean, if I do, the only reason that I would have to is to let me move it out of the way before I test it. The only reason that I would have to upgrade them is to get extra height out of this. I mean, and if I upgrade all 4 of them to level 5, I mean, that's going to be 30 plus blocks that the back end of this thing extends up to. Oh, that sucks. Well, it works, but it's kind of slow. I don't know if it's going to be high enough to raise it up over your average stone thing. But I guess let's go find a piece of rock to test it on. Yeah, I like this machine. I think it's pretty cool. So I gotta go get at least 4 more component kits. The lag is real. Oh, jeez. Holy crap. I mean, I don't think it's the machine. I know what it is all of these things haven't settled, and the amount of stuff that the amount of lines of code that it's added. Let me save and quit here and run my backup. Because I don't want to lose the changes that I've made to the machine or the world. And I know what it is all of those pieces of stone have their own physics to them. And as they bump into each other, they I mean, it could not. Well, as soon as I put that on the lift, it seemed to have stopped. And the weird part is, it's kind of inconsistent in that I don't know what's happening. I thought it was the stone being the problem. Like there's too many rocks or something. And it's just adding that much stuff to the physics engine, kind of like if too many TNT explosions. But it appears to be the machine itself. But I don't have any idea as to how the mechanics of the game work. Not from a first-hand perspective other than speculation, but just full? No. Whoa! It seems to work though. Yeah, works pretty great. Yeah, and the really cool part is the pistons have the unintended, I didn't intend it to do this, they have the unintended effect of allowing me to deploy the grinder or the drill head piston on the floor, and regardless of whatever the terrain is, the piston that's attached to the wheel allows for changes in the terrain, and the pistons on the back wheels allow the wheels to stay in contact with the ground regardless of the terrain. I mean, it's not only the thing that lifts it, but it's a stabilizer, which I really just added them to lift the back end of the car up onto the rock, but it all kind of came together. And I'm making it a point to specify that it was, I didn't plan for that to happen, it just kind of happened. And it's great. You know, like, I'm not trying to artificially inflate my designing ability here. I'm not trying to talk myself up undeservedly. Like, no, it just kind of worked out that way, and it's pretty great. And compared to the amount of times that I would have to go forward with a drill on the front end and break up the big part of stone and then jump off the lift and then hit it all with a hammer, compared to just backing the whole machine up to the rock and lowering the drill head onto the top of it, and then being able to sweep the ground with it regardless of the terrain. That was freaking awesome. I don't think I could have made a better machine to do this. That is freaking awesome. And it even drives really well. And you don't really even have to get off of the machine. Now, I guess the next test would be this really, really uneven terrain over here where these rocks were. You know, I wonder if I drive over that thing. I don't want it to break anything, but let's see what happens if I drive over it and turn on the drill. How's that being an aggressive robot working out for you there? Nice, I think I found my robot killer and collector too. It's gonna break it. I didn't hit him with enough momentum to stun him. Oh well, I guess that works too. So where are these uneven rocks here? I think those are them right there. Now, if I know I'm too low to go this way. Let me collect all this other crap over here. Yeah, it's full. Okay, so rocks on a really awkward hill. Not a problem. What am I even gonna do with all this stone? I don't really need it for anything. Yeah, I'm very, very pleased with my stone processor here. Just so much metal. I guess I'll build a house made out of metal, I guess. I should probably just make a bunch of metal too. Now this might seem like a waste of time to put the corn on here. And you'd be right, except it keeps it out of the box, so I don't have to make a box just for corn. And for two, oops, all I have to do is break this one thing off of the car and then bring it over to some cows and just drop it on the ground, and pretty sure they'll just eat the entire thing and turn it all into milk. And then the problem becomes, where do I store the milk? But man, I'm so pleased with the stone machine. I mean, adding the bearings on the back of this makes it so it drifts real nice. It's less likely to tip over now. This thing grabs trees and processes trees like it's no problem. A stack of 250 metal too. The thing that I ran out of was water. Man, this is so awesome. And again, with the limitations of the mechanics of the way that the game works, I don't think there's a better way to do this, do that, do that, do this, do that, or do that, or the watering bot. Like, I don't think there's a better way to do it. And it's not me trying to talk myself up here, like, look at that. He's just going to town. I mean, I don't, this is a test, so if that thing isn't up to speed, he's gonna get through the wall. Maybe not. But that's okay. But still, what I said still holds true, is I don't think there's a better way to do the things that I've done given the limitations of the game. This kind of gives me an idea. Is this will allow this to get up to speed? Because it spins too slow otherwise. Thank you, robot. How many blocks is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh no, I'm just gonna make it the amount of blocks it was before. I don't know where the blocks he broke went. Or it broke, I mean. Is this one of them? Yeah. Yeah, I still don't know where the other one went. Should be somewhere around here. But that also shows me that the long arms here, that if they do break them, it just causes it to spin faster, to where they'll probably get chewed up by it anyway. So many blocks is this? So 16 and 5? Is that wrong? I think it is wrong. That one's right. I think this one is not right. So maybe 16 and 6 then. Yeah, that's right. Okay. I mean, I was gonna say, I see that I have a person here, so even though I just finished a demonstration of the testing of my stone machine, if there's a machine that you would like to see demonstrated or explained, but just as I was about to say that, they left, so. There's the other piece of that. But back to what I was saying about the solutions that I've gotten here is, like, if you have a square hole, you can probably fit other shapes through it. You know, you can probably find other solutions to it. But the ideal is to find the one that best fits the hole. And if the game mechanics are the shape of the hole, these are the blocks that fit into that. Based on they work. I mean, like, and that doesn't have anything to do with me. You know, like, that's not me talking myself up. That's just the way that the game works. I mean, it is very satisfying, though, that it works. Like, I'm trying to de-hype the fact that, oh, it was me that came up with that. Because I feel that the truth lies closer with, if you put any person in the same situation, they would come to the same conclusion, because if that's what the game mechanics tell you is the best solution. And that's not just applicable to video games. Which brings me to the reason that I totally love video games is there's not really that much physical, strenuous activity in figuring out how the game mechanics work. Like, my character in the game might get beat up, or, you know, might have whatever game mechanic related issue there is. But it's funny to think that for every game that everybody plays, it's just patterns of light on a screen, and they're sitting there pushing the same buttons that they push for every other game. But the only thing that changes is their experience in their mind, and that's totally crazy to me, anyway. I mean, pushing the same buttons for every game that you play, but it's just different patterns of light on the screen. But you can't argue that they aren't different games. You can't argue that it's not a different thing happening. Like, with as peaceful and as satisfied as I am in playing this game, it's all just the same buttons and different patterns of light. But like, I get totally stressed out playing TF2, watching people like do stuff that isn't game mechanic related. Like, they think that they're doing a thing, and it's like, get out of the vents. And they take it like I'm trying to tell them what to do, and it's like, well, I mean, wouldn't you want to do the thing that's going to get you the thing that you want in the game that you're playing? Yeah? Well, then get out of the vents. You're a duty. You're playing a team-based game like it's one of these games, like it's a do-what-you-want simulator. Blah blah. And with as gummy as these low-level pistons are, and how they act like shock absorbers, and I'm not really sure I should even upgrade them. Because I don't really need the full 30 block extension from the 2 level 5 pistons, and I can use the components for other stuff. And what else? And it works well enough right now, so there's not really any reason to fix it. And the thing about different level pistons is they have different resistances and weight limits. So if I upgrade them and it turns out that level 5 is bad, it'll be a wasted component kit, and I'll have to replace the piston with the lower level one because you can't upgrade something. Like if the unintentional shock absorber of the piston, of the low level piston, becomes too rigid and it makes it handle badly, the only way to undo that is to take the whole piston off and make a new one. But this, because the weight, the strength of the piston doesn't change, and with them being low level pistons and having a certain level of gumminess to them, it acts as a suspension. A hyper extended suspension, so I don't really want to mess with that. The one thing I wanted to do, so that's a level 2. I've been meaning to do this for a while, and that's a level 3. So let me upgrade the level 2 to a level 3. Now it's probably going to hit the ground. Yeah. Banana. 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 I've got like 400 metal 2 blocks now. It's crazy. The one, no. Oh, I'm playing so many inventory sorting simulator games without a sort button because for whatever reason it seems like a pretty common thing for developers that have games that have, you know, inventory simulator sorting issues, which is pretty much all of them. The easiest way to sort stuff that I've found with the least amount of moves is to find the biggest clump of whatever product that you're sorting and just drag the other things so that they're next to the slot where the other thing is. And it seems kind of counterintuitive to think that that's the fastest way to do it. But what ends up happening is all of the other stuff ends up falling in place with all of the other things. And because you're not moving each individual thing into its own slot, and you're just starting with the biggest clump of wherever anything is, it works out really well. You know, that would be a machine to build. I'm not sure if I've ever tried to do it before because like the easiest way to deal with corn is if you have a stack of corn, you go over to your cows and you just spam the button to place the corn. But if you have excess amounts of corn and you don't want or need milk at the time because all of the corn that you feed to the cows, you'd have to then turn around and store. Because I wonder if I can make a machine that, you know, I probably could. If I make a machine where you throw all the corn into a box, and then it has a piston that slides, you know, one block at a time. I'm not sure if you can do that with a controller or not. Or even the whole unit that places the corn goes one block at a time. Which I guess you could do that if you put, like, just like the watering machine, you just hook a controller up to a wheel and it moves the whole placement thing. It'd basically be the same thing as the water bot, but with a plank below it. And the other problem is I don't think that you can use a sensor or a switch to turn on another sensor or a switch. So the solution to that would be you'd have to use some type of logic gate setup which I can't think of how difficult that would be offhand, but because it could be a super easy logic solution, but it'd have to be something that went a certain distance and placed corn and then lowered the placement area. And then, like, if it hit a wall and hit the sensor, like, it triggered the... Well, see, that would work, is if you set up a loop. Oh, no, see, if you set up a loop, then it only goes forward. Now, it'd have to be a logic gate triggered by a sensor that when the sensor hits one wall, it has a memory cell that is either on or off, and it changes its state to either on or off. And if it's on, then the controller is going to be going in one direction, and if it's off, then it's going to be going in reverse. And again, that's doable. I think that's doable. Because you just use a logic gate to put power to a controller. But the memory cell part is the part I haven't figured out. Like, I don't know if there is a memory cell. I think there is a memory cell. I mean, it would just have to store one bit of info. It'd have to either be on or off. I mean, that would be like the final version. It would just be like a water bot type looking machine that just goes this far and then stops and turns around and then goes this far and stops and turns around and then goes this far and turns around. But a thing to avoid having to use the sensors and the memory cells is if I programmed half of the controller to go forward and then the other half of the controller to come back, and just use the same actuator with the same 4 blocks on the spinner, that would work. Or if I even offset, use the same wheel, but then put a second trigger so that it fires it twice as fast, so that every time one of these passes, it wouldn't miss a piece of corn, and it would just go forward and place corn. But I don't know if these things even place corn, so... And that's even more complicated than I would need it to be, too, is the only thing that would have to change... No, but see, that would need a memory cell, too. No, not unless I use a controller that was on a timer. Or not a timer, but I mean a controller that was set on the same timing as the other controller. And then I still don't know if you can use a controller on a piston. I have a controller on this thing. I don't think I do. Something that would control a piston to drop it down by the 2 blocks every time that the thing went by. But the other solution would be to not make any changes to this and just let it run in a straight line and place corn as far as it'll place corn. just have a cow pen that's built around the water bed, the water bot. But I don't even know if it's going to place corn. See, the initial idea was to make something like this automatically. Like you just throw corn in the box and the machine spits out something like this. To where you can just unweld it and throw it into the cow pen and the cows go crazy. That would be something to think about though too, is if I made a cow pen that stored only one cow, but it had a floor that was made of input pumps. So the cow is standing on the input pumps and it just keeps getting fed corn every time, so then no matter where the milk falls, so it's basically like a hopper in a Minecraft. And the same timer that controls the same controller that controls the corn placer where the cow is at. I mean, that would probably be the easiest thing to do, and then I don't have to worry about putting the corn out. But I don't even know if these things place corn, so. And then there's that, is you don't really need a collector. But the collector saves you from having to manually pick up all the milk. But the next thing I think that I'm gonna do, probably on the next stream, is probably to head on down to Electric Avenue. Try to go do the, try to complete the warehouse. And maybe find pineapple seeds. And see, now I know what I didn't know before I went in, is I need way more potatoes in my inventory. There's practically nothing to collect, and there's just a ton of bots to kill. You might get an inventory full of dirt, which I don't really need. I don't know if you've completed a warehouse, does it ever respawn? I mean, I imagine that it does, but I don't know that. And as long as I have a stack of potatoes for when I eventually get killed by the tape bots. And the other thing to test would be to try to bring a bed in there with me. See if I can't throw a bed inside of the warehouse. But I mean, that might corrupt my whole save. I mean, because I don't know if they ever expected you to put a bed in the warehouse. But now I'm gonna call it a stream right here and save and quit. This is already coming up on 2 hours, and kind of want to break up the episodes a little bit. Thank you for watching, and thank you for subscribing. I'm clicking the button right now.